Hi Proton.
I'm listening.
Open the driver's side window.
Okay. The front right window has
Still does that. Hello and welcome to yet another Nepal Drives review. This time we're driving our third ever Proton car. The last car that we drove from Proton was the X70, and you can check out that review by clicking the link that's going to be popping somewhere over here. Now this time we have the Proton X50. This is the Malaysian brand's flagship model, and we have a lot of high expectations from it. Now all it has to do is live up to it. Let's start with the exterior. The Proton X50 isn't a very large car in terms of dimensions, but it still manages to impose itself on the road. Now there aren't a lot of overly dramatic elements going on with the design, but there are some elements that will really catch your attention. Take this front bumper for instance. It looks like something taken right off of a tuned import car. And the carbon fiber look, we love it. The rest of the car is pretty standard. The front fascia is very aggressive. We love the red color accents on the grille, and we love the projector LED headlamps as well. On the profile you get these 18-inch alloy wheels with red calipers that you only get with the top variant. The roofline is slightly sloping, which gives it a sporty appeal, especially with these creases and black cladding. It actually has a very good balance of sportiness and utility, especially in terms of aesthetics. The rear design of the X50 is sharp. Check out these quad exhaust tailpipes, we love them. And these uber cool dual cutout spoilers, they mean business. As impressive as the exterior was, the interior is where it's at. If your car feels more expensive than it is, then you have a winner. And that is exactly the case with the Proton X50. These aluminum brushed panels, leather seats, the stitching, this amazing dash, this 10-inch screen, it all feels like something you'd get in a car that is higher up in the segment, and not to mention this panoramic sunroof. The build quality is great. The buttons on the console and on the steering wheel have a tactile feel to them, which I really like. And if you're like us and you like to gauge the quality of the interiors by pressing the panels, you'll be happy to know that there's no unnecessary squeaking going on. It just feels like an overall well put together car. You still get Proton's nifty voice command. Check this out. Hi Proton.
I'm listening.
Please open the sunroof.
Okay, the sunroof has been opened for you.
The rear seats, like the front, are very comfortable. You can fit 2 people with ease and 3 people if you're willing to scooch up a little bit. There's plenty of knee room, but headroom for taller people is slightly scarce. You do get rear aircon vents, which makes life easier, along with these USB charging ports. Usually a lot of knee room in the rear seat translates to a compromised boot space, and that is somewhat the case for the Proton X50. You get a total of 330 liters of boot space, which should be enough for your family excursions on a weekend trip. Now the question is the Proton X50 worthy of being taken on a weekend trip? We find out. Proton were extremely confident about the performance of the X50, so much so that they pitted it against the BMW X1 S-Drive 18i variant on a one-on-one competition to a sprint to 100 km per hour. And the Proton X50 won. Now it wasn't an official race and the criteria in place might have been slightly shady, but it was still a blatant show of confidence on the part of Proton. Now what were they so confident about? Let's find out. That's what they were cocky about. I'm driving the 1.5T GDI flagship model, and it produces 175 brake horsepower and 255 Newton meters of torque. And as you can see from my face, it's a lot of fun. With the Proton X50, you get to choose from 3 modes: Eco, Normal and Sport. Eco mode is better than what you get with most cars. You've got enough juice to amble around in the city and to make overtakes as well. Sports mode, on the other hand, is very aggressive. It changes the transmission mapping to hold gears for longer, but it makes everything very jittery, especially at lower speeds. So much like the story of Goldilocks stealing porridge from 3 bears, normal mode is just right. The turbo kicks in quickly and you can go from cruising to overtaking with ease.
In terms of safety, the Proton X50 comes loaded. Try to keep up as I list it all down. The SUV features 4 to 6 airbags, ABS with EBD and ESC, brake assist, auto brake hold, traction control system, lane keep assist, blind spot information system, hill hold assist, hill descent assist, front and rear parking sensors, electronic parking brake, 360-degree camera, reverse camera, immobilizer, anti-theft alarm and tire pressure monitoring system. And that's not all. The advanced driver assistance system in the Proton X50 equips the car with automatic emergency braking and forward warning collision, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, intelligent cruise control.
That's the sound of the lane keep assist telling me that I've driven out of lane. I'm also getting a slight nudge in the steering wheels, which stops feeling really intrusive once you get used to it. But in case you don't get used to it, you can still turn it off through the console. I also like the blind spot monitoring function that you get in the outside rearview mirrors, which can be very useful when you're driving in the anarchy of the Nepalese roads. Now, one glaring downside of the X50 is its mileage. I'm currently getting 11.1 liters per 100 kilometers, which isn't great. Now, I've been driving with very less regard for mileage, but even when I'm being stingy with the accelerator, the numbers aren't that great.
During our test drive, there were times when the dashboard numbers read out that we had fewer kilometers worth of fuel left in the tank than we had kilometers left till we reached the closest fuel pump. While this was worrying, it turned out that the numbers weren't accurate and we didn't end up having to push the car to the fuel station.
The Proton X50 received a lot of hype in Malaysia and it could use more of it in Nepal. The exterior managed to pull the sporty but classy look, and the interior feels premium. And to drive, the Proton X50 is spectacular. It's a car that I would love to have in my garage and drive to work every day. But with the fuel prices being the way they are, I would probably have to get a second job. For a 1.5 litre mil, this is a thirsty cat. Nevertheless, if mileage isn't at the top of your checklist, this car is worth a test drive. It makes a very good first impression and it feels like a car that you could live with. And if you're paying 85 lakh for a car, it better be as good as advertised. Of course, you get the standard and premium variant at a lower price, but the TGDI model is the one for us, especially in terms of driving. Well, that was our review. We hope you liked it. If you have any comment for us, make sure you put it down below and click that subscribe button. It'll really help us out.